To know this bio by heart now. I'm going to go ahead and do it justice and read it off the paper. I want to first say, though, that I'm extremely honored to be introducing this woman who has been an absolute inspiration to me in the work that I do every day, and a woman that I strive to be like and have a career like and motivate my community and the world in a way that she's been able to do. Dr. Beverly Wright is an environmental justice scholar, an activist, and founder of the Deep South Center for Environmental Justice. The center focuses on environmental work and health inequities along the Mississippi River Chemical Corridor, and it's a community and university partnership that provides education, training, and job placement. So since Katrina, the center has been focused largely on research, policy, community outreach, assistance, and the education of displaced African American residents of New Orleans. Dr. Wright has served on the Corps of Engineers Environmental Advisory Board, the Mayor of New Orleans Environmental Affairs Brownfields Consortium, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, and the New Orleans Select Committee for the Sewerage and Water Board. She's chaired the 2002 Second National People of Color Environmental Leadership Summit, and I'm absolutely proud to say that she's the co-chair of the Environmental Justice and Climate Change Initiative. So can you all please help me in welcoming Dr. Beverly Wright.
Long walk up here. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for coming to our city, first of all. I know everything looks just peachy keen downtown, but I'd like to invite you to come out to where many of us live, and many of us who are of my hue. And you will see a different New Orleans, but you will see one that's struggling, where the people who live here are absolutely determined to come back, and we are doing a lot of it without any help from the government. And the majority of our help has been self-help and nonprofits and faith-based organizations that I really don't think we could have survived without the help that we got from the nonprofits. We all know that the nonprofits right now are suffering thanks to Madoff. Many of us, he made off with our money and the money of a lot of the foundations that support us. But we are still here, and we will continue to stand. I just have to tell you, this work is getting harder and harder. And speaking from a woman's point of view, if you could see my nails, I haven't even been able to get to the nail shop. You know, and some of us with our hair and our nails, those are two important things. One or the other, or both. And I'm almost embarrassed, but this work has gotten so intense that I find that I'm not even interested in getting my nails done. You know, that's a change over these 40 years. It's really very, very hard work at this particular time in our lives. Working as an environmental justice advocate and scholar, and with all of the writing that I've done, I never thought the work could get harder. I never thought that I would see racism just appears just so vivid and without unabashed racism, I guess you'd call it. I never thought I would see that when people would say things like, oh my God, we certainly should not let those poor people move back to the lower Ninth Ward. Why would anybody want to go back there? Why should we waste our money, you know, or waste the government's money rebuilding areas that really need to go back to wetlands? But you know, I've been on this earth 61 years, and I have yet to hear someone say everybody in San Francisco need to pack up and move now. You know, because San Francisco is going to go. You know, I don't hear people saying Arizona, Phoenix, and all of these places should just, you know, they're deserts. and you're changing desert, to land where people live, robbing the water table from other states. But nobody says, let's shut down Arizona.
That's right.
The only place Florida.
Yeah.
Hurricanes and storms every year, the playground of the Northeast, the Gulf Coast. But you never hear them say, oh my God, let's just shut down Florida. Let's shut it down. Florida Keys, let's get rid of it because it needs to go back to nature. The only place that was said was in the city of New Orleans. Loud voices from all over, from Congress to our good environmentalists who love trees more than what they love me. We're all saying, this is crazy, let's not spend our money redoing New Orleans, a place where African Americans have been for a long time, and we're looking for the very first time at inherited lands. I now own property. I own 5 houses in the city of New Orleans, all because of my grandparents and my parents. Many of us own land. We've been here a long time. All of it went under. And we're told to walk away from what our parents and grandparents worked so hard for under the worst conditions imaginable to make certain that we would have a future, because wealth in this country, as you know, for most of us, is in our homes. It's in land. And so while these people are making these statements about how we should just walk away, none of them are thinking about what we are losing, African Americans are losing, after a very long and hard struggle without any equality in place. My father worked a day job, a night job, and a weekend job. The only day he did not work was Sunday, because he had to go to church. He was Deacon Bates. That's where his status came from in the community, in the church. And so I am not going to turn my back on what he worked so hard. He believed that inheritance was the way out for our people. And he died at 64 years old, mostly from overwork, to make certain that his children and grandchildren would have that little piece of land that some people now have decided is worthless and not worth fighting for. But I think we surprised them. We absolutely surprised them. They could not believe the tenacity of people who live in this city, black people who live here, which surprised me. New Orleans is older than the United States. We have been here all that time. So what would make them think we would not be connected to this land? Somebody for some reason thought that it would be easy for us to walk away from our homes, our churches, our communities, our schools. It was not, it is not, and we shall not. And I tell people all the time, what happened in the city of New Orleans, for the most part, was man-made, not God-made, man-made. Man-made with the destruction of the wetlands. Man-made with building the Mississippi River Gulf outlet, which brought surge to us 80 miles sooner than what it would have. And man-made with the neglect of the levees. The hurricanes are natural, but what happened to us was not natural. There was nothing natural about what happened to us, and we've been told to suck it up and move. Or we're going to really, really protect uptown. We're going to get, most of the money is going uptown. We want to shorten the footprint. Isn't that what they say? A smaller footprint. But it was amazing to see that the only footprint that was being made smaller was where black people live. Everything else was expanding, the cost of housing going up through the roof. I have a girlfriend who has an old house uptown. She can hardly afford to stay there because of the taxes. Because somebody very wealthy bought a lot next door, tore down the old house, put up a $450,000 house next door to hers. So now she's in trouble. And so now we're also in the process of possibly losing what land we have uptown because of the cost of property and taxes going up. I need to get to my presentation. I got